My name is Emily Dinsmore. I'm going to talk about how the NHL can gain popularity in the United States. Currently, the NHL is ranked as the 6th most popular sport in the United States, behind sports such as football, baseball, NASCAR, and basketball. My hypothesis is the NHL should look to increase popularity throughout the United States through a higher usage of social media. Solutions the NHL could use is to gain more popularity are increase their usage of their current social media platforms such as Twitter, Facebook, websites, etc., and variations on just the traditional use of them. And we'll talk about the LA Kings Twitter account and how they're a success model and how they took a different approach to just the current traditional use of Twitter. We're also going to talk about how the NHL should engage the fan more through social media and TV cross-promotions. First off, we're going to talk about one of the most popular social media sites, Twitter. Right now, the NHL and teams are using Twitter in a traditional way. They are connecting fans with teams, and fans are connecting with their favorite athletes from their teams, and teams are looking to create a brand amongst their followers. This year, the NHL took a stance and promoted the 2012 Stanley Cup playoffs heavily with the use of Twitter. As you can see in the picture here, they have the hashtag Stanley Cup. The slogan this year was "Because it's the Cup." So they use the hashtag "Because it's the Cup," and they also use hashtags to talk about the matchups that were going on. They use this to get their followers and fans talking about the NHL, their favorite team, and the playoffs as a whole. The LA Kings were especially active in the 2012 playoffs, making some headlines. The LA Kings have always been good using social media. In 2010, they launched the first ever NHL hashtag battle, which got people on Twitter talking about the matchup game. So in this case, we have the Kings vs. Ducks and the Kings vs. Avalanche. In the first hashtag battle, over 45,000 hashtags were registered, and it was only during the time of the game you would enter the battle by tweeting "Go" whichever team you were for as many times as you could to get the hashtag in. The winning team got a certain amount of money donated to their charity of their choice. The Kings also use Kings Vision, which is basically behind-the-scenes footage and exclusive interviews, ask the players that are kind of more fun, and it gets the fans involved and wanting to know more about the players. This is a quote from Dwayne Hankins, Director of New Media at AEG Sports, when he was asked about what his social media role for the Kings is. He said, "We think there's an ability to engage our own fans and not be so straight down the line. We look at it as if we're sort of like the scoreboard. We're going to give you plenty of information, but look to get the fans riled up too." So like I said, the LA Kings Twitter specifically picked up hype during the 2012 playoffs, where they led by example. They changed their approach to how they were tweeting to a more sassy, like I said, getting the fans riled up way of tweeting. If you see here at the top picture on the left, right here it says, "To everyone in Canada outside of BC, you're welcome." That was the tweet that first kind of changed the Kings Twitter and really got a lot of people talking about it. You had a bunch of people that loved it and thought it was funny. Like I said, I think it was over 13,000 retweets. People retweeted that tweet. In a Skype interview conducted by Trevor Turnbull of the Sports Networker, where he interviewed Dwayne Hankins and Pat Donahue of the LA Kings social media directors. They were asked of what their kind of approach is to the Kings Twitter. And they said, we want to try and respond to every fan or account that tweets to us. If you look at the other two tweets here, they tweeted to the NHL, who wants all those if necessary games anyway, saying that, I think that was after they swept St. Louis, and then the Phoenix Coyotes, when they played the Western Conference champions, they said, bring it on. Another interesting quote during that interview was when Dwayne said, if the only thing that people know about our brand is our Twitter account, our goal is that eventually they will get to a game or watch a game. So if you look at the bottom of this picture on the left right here, it says that the Kings, from the entire time of the playoffs, they gained 37,377 followers. That's the most of the teams that are listed right there that were left in the playoffs at that point. So they got a lot of new followers because of how they tweeted. They kind of established themselves as took more, like I said, sassy personality about it. So if people are now following them on Twitter, they're getting their updates, and if they see their updates, they're exposed to the Kings more, which maybe will draw them into watching a game, which may eventually get them to actually get a seat at Staples Center. Another thing they said was a lot of people thought the tweet was risky, but their staff actually said that it was okay, and the quote was, "We're able to do things on social media that other teams may not be able to get away with or do not have the funds to do." So the Kings staff is very lenient and trustworthy of their social media people to do what they have to do to draw the traffic to their site. And I think other teams could possibly start doing this to get more attention. As I said, this tweet and the Kings were now talked about on ESPN and other sports shows throughout. Facebook is another good example of how the NHL and teams could kind of grow popularity. I'm almost positive every NHL team has a Facebook page that you could like, and also the NHL has one itself. So just offering the fans something they can't find anywhere else. Giveaways, special offers, exclusive interviews, something that's going to attract people, even who aren't fans, to their site. Like the NHL, who doesn't want to win a free car? So, anyone could enter to win the car because they need a new car, or they want it, but they necessarily might not like the NHL. They're now going to get feeds coming up through the NHL, and they're going to be more exposed to it and seeing it. Engaging the fan is really the next thing to grow the sport, and that's through use of social media. On the left here is a picture of the NHL 13 cover vote, where fans actually get to vote for who they want on the cover. NHL.com was a big site to go through to vote for this. They had brackets, so it went from 16 to 8 to 4 to 2, and then Claude Giroux was the winner. They also had people vote on Twitter and Facebook, so you could tweet EA Sports or the NHL and hashtag the player you voted for. So that's another way of using social media to get people to talk about it. Also, the NHL wants to turn to a one-stop shop. They want people to really only go to the NHL website to get all their information. They want them to be able to get merchandise, updates, live feed, exclusive interviews, things like that. So the fans would have to go to the NHL website to get all this information. And then this is a link that you can click if you have time. It leads you to a blog, and about halfway down there's a video about how the NHL used social media to boost the 2011 Winter Classic.
The overall objective for Winter Classic was to tap into the power of social media and create an innovative program where we could build a big audience for the start of the hockey game and see that audience sustained throughout the hockey game. We've never really seen a media property like the National Hockey League and a broadcaster like NBC come together, harness the power of social media, and do a meaningful integration with a broadcast television event, as we did with the NHL Winter Classic.
From Portland, Oregon. Stand by for your chance to win this new CRZ.
This, which has kind of taken over the traditional New Year's Day as college football day, but to advertise big games or the playoffs, like we said, it could really increase the sports viewership. And then when asked about what social media meant in the NHL, Michael DiLorenzo, who is the former NHL Senior Director of Social Media Marketing and Strategy, said, "To satisfy the emotional craving fans have to be directly connected to their favorite teams. Social media is the sunshine and water that helps grow the passions of fans. It also provides the shortest distance between, in our case, the league and fans." So he's even saying that social media is the way to get people connected to the fans, and the more the fans are connected, the more they're going to want to watch, or even people who aren't fans. If they feel more connected to an athlete, who doesn't want to be connected to an athlete, it's going to draw them in and kind of create more of a buzz about it. And the picture on the right here is a screenshot of something the NHL sends out on Facebook. They'll show you something about the Winter Classic or about a subject, and if you like it, you'll click like. And like it says, if you disagree, you could tell them which one was your favorite. And it kind of gets people talking about it, gives them their feedback on how they could do better or promote or whatnot. We're going to talk about really quick cross promotions on sports programming. I came up with the idea for WWE programming. My friend did, about how during a WWE broadcast, you could throw in a commercial that says, do you want to see a real body slam turn into Kings Ducks on Thursday at 7 on channel blah blah blah. So you're integrating, promoting the hockey game into another sporting event. So sports fans may be more likely to watch the Kings game or the hockey game. And then event viewing is just highlighting the entire league, not just the main 6 teams or the 3 teams that are doing well, making sure that everyone in different time zones is able to catch the game, whether it's on replay, live, on a network, things like that. And then NHL recently just signed the NBC, a deal with NBC Sports for $2 billion in 10 years. So now that NBC Sports doesn't just show hockey, it shows everything else. They can throw in hockey commercials during a baseball game or a basketball game, like more cross-promotion things to get people to tune in. And now a lot of cable providers are offering the NHL Network, which is a year-round channel for just hockey. Cable companies such as Cox, Time Warner, DirecTV, they'll to show highlights, replays, breaking news, trades, the draft, everything that goes along. Also, in 2011, released the 24/7 Road to the Winter Classic, which is actually really popular among fans, and it allows full access to players on the ice. They're mic'd up, the training room, at home, just everything they do leading up to this game. And it's uncensored, so it adds little real kind of touch to what it's like to be a hockey player, or be on a hockey team. And they also did, NBC also did NHL 36, which follows one specific player for 36 hours between practices, pre-game. Now I'm going to talk about the analysis of the demographic and values. This picture here shows where all the teams are located in the United States. So obviously most are in the Northeast region. And then last year I did a project on actually the demographics of the NHL, and through a MRI Media Market Reporter, and it shows that 90.6% of people who watch hockey are white. 45.7% of people that watch hockey are men ages 18 through 49. And then the average household income, at about 40% of people who watch are $75,000 to $150,000, and most people live in the Northeast. So the general basic demographics are people, both men and women, aged 25 to 34. Most of them are males. And then most people live in East Coast, and the Media Market Reporter only does the United States. So, but a lot of people do watch in Canada. And then the value of social media for the NHL to gain popularity is that social media is free. Besides the team having to hire someone to run social media, all the platforms are generally free. The Twitter's free, Facebook, it's all free to have an account. Also, the NBC Sports deal is going to be huge. It's going to be able to promote hockey while other, like I said, football, baseball, basketball, whatever they're showing, commercials to kind of tune in. So it's really beneficial that the cross-promotions and social media is available. And then the risks that are involved are not every team, like Dwayne said in the interview, will have as much freedom as the Kings. They might not be able to get away with tweeting on a more risky or sassy level. Also, if teams do try to copy the Kings and use the success model, they may take it too far. They may not be able to get the right point across and may come off more violent or hasty than they really are trying to be. And then the big one is the potential lockout next year. This would be the second one in about 7 years. So hockey is not even that big of a sport right now, and to lose it for even half a entire season or even half a season would really set back the progress that the NHL has actually picked up in the last couple of years. Also, HBO and NBC Sports may drop the deals because we can't afford to lose an entire season again. It would drop their ratings, and that's kind of what happened with ESPN. They actually aired hockey till the previous lockout, and they dropped it, and they didn't renew it, so they started putting poker, so that's why you kind of see a lot of poker on ESPN. And then the future of how I see social media being used by the NHL to promote. Kind of mixed reviews. Like I said, everything's going digital, so most things are going to be social media, technology based, and even they used like the cloud thing in the TED video that was explained. kind of I'll explain this. I do see more teams trying to make changes like the Kings and trying to take a different approach to maybe set them apart from another team. If the NHL could use a variation of the Kings approach, I think it would really benefit the sport as a whole, and it might attract more people to watch hockey. And then something I found interesting on one of my sources, this is a picture on the right here. It was in 2002, 2003, of where teams get their where they get their revenue from. And back then, social media really wasn't the hype. It wasn't as popular or big as it is now. And it brought in, broadcast and new media brought in 22% of the revenue. And I couldn't find a more recent picture of it, but I'm almost positive that since the way social media is, this is definitely a larger chunk than it is now. And I believe that everything to market the sport is going to be technologically based, and I really think that it's going to make a big difference on how sports grow. And these are my sources.